That is right. The bunker is back. Weeks away, and we are back. And of course, late. That's the way. That's the way we roll here. We're just gonna be late. There's a lot of stuff that's currently in the process of being changed. We'll do a quick catch up as to what's been happening over the past few, weeks, because things have been happening in real life, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's happening in game, because there is a lot of confusion about what is happening in the game right now. So we will talk about all of that, but I am glad to have all of you guys here, and we are joined by, first off, a face that's always here, Mr. Delete.
Oh, salutations. I'll come back with like a new greeting as opposed to my usual.
I like that one.
I'll do them both.
I'm not a fan of the British salutation bow thing that you just did. Not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan.
I actually
it's a work in progress.
I actually met I got a new boss at work, and like I haven't been going into the city. I work in New York City, and I went in a couple days, and I met my new boss, and I bowed. And like my mid-range boss, I guess you should say, I'm like, like the assistant to the assistant manager kind of thing, was just like, dude, you just bowed. And I was just like, thanks for calling that out. That's really appreciated. Yes, it was awkward. And I actually do it all the time for new people that I meet that I really like. So it just felt fitting to kind of do it here too. And I got called out at twice now. Maybe I should stop bowing. No, I'll probably just bow the next time I get. I'll just be a bowing fool.
Go with whatever makes you happy. That's all I gotta say. I may not enjoy it, but as long as you enjoy it, that's what matters.
Listen, I led for years the charge of bringing back the high five, and then a pandemic happened where you're not allowed to touch anyone. So I may have actually contributed to the spread of a disease by physical contact because I was promoting physical contact.
We're going to get out of this and you have to relearn how to do a high five. Everybody's going to be like, ugh.
Yeah, air fives. It's going to be like the missing high five is going to be the one that makes it now.
It's going to be the one where just the pinkies hit. Just every time, it's just the pinkies.
All the uncoordinated people in the world are finally at peace that they no longer need to land the five.
Yeah.
If you were expecting anything less than this on our first episode back from one of the longest breaks that I've had from the stream, you're sadly mistaken.
Yes.
Because
it's going to get worse. It's going to go downhill from here.
This is a plane that's going to land right here.
And right here to help us make this all go downhill, Mr. Mako himself.
Failed my pilot's exam, so this should be fun.
Nice. Hey,
so the question we all have on our mind, Mako, how is little Mako?
Good. Starting to giggle and laugh, but still won't sleep through the night. So,
yeah, it's tough. That's tough. Did you get the rollover? The rollover was the scariest thing.
No, he gets to about 85%, and then he's like, "Yeah, I feel better on my back." So,
yeah, like I was the dad that like walked away from my kid on the changing table and came back and like, you're on your stomach. Oh my God, you're no longer a sack of potatoes. You're mobile.
Yeah. He likes to scoot downwards, so he'll just sit on his back, he'll inchworm.
Oh,
all of a sudden he'll be like 5 feet away from where he was. Is like,
yeah. What? Wait. Whoa! Like this just got real. Also, my first stream without a hat. I don't know how I feel about.
Give a
not
5
wearing a hat.
Go get one.
Oh.
I mean, there we go. He had to put it back on.
Luckily,
okay.
I live my life a hat 5 feet away at all times.
Well, so if we're going to do this, right, and we're workshopping all these different things, right, go ahead and try the salutation with the bow with the hat. Let's see if it changes the impression a little bit.
All right. Let's see. Oh, and on delete from 125. No, it just felt forced. It felt forced there. God, why do I do
And
this
there you go.
every time?
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Delete the man with the hat and the lack of a bow.
Sorry. You know, I don't normally do this, like, you know, the get uncomfortable thing, but I'm pretty uncomfortable right now. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
So I hope you guys. I hope you all had a great few weeks. We'll catch everybody up on what we've been doing the last few weeks, because I know mine has been somewhat busy and happy and not so happy. So we'll talk about all that. I was sick last week. So this past week I was actually. So we'll get into that. But thank you guys. They still love and support you, Delete. They still love and support you.
See,
well, Buzzsaw does. I don't know about everyone. I don't know about everyone.
I missed you guys. I hope you got this notification, and like, because you've subscribed and you like, you know, you totally look forward to this like I do, and you're just like, oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. We're back. We are back.
We are. And we have a lot to discuss because there's been a lot of stuff going on. I have been playing throughout this, and yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on. We'll jump into that. But if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit the like button on the screen on the YouTube video so you guys can let us know that you guys enjoy the content. So give us that little thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already so that you get notified whenever we go live, and you can hit that little bell icon so you guys can get told that. And then, of course, if you guys haven't, make sure you guys try State of Survival. It's actually a fairly fun game. Just don't go crazy. All I gotta say, don't go crazy. Right, Delete? Don't go crazy. Protect those 16 digits.
So I am now 504 consecutive days, and if I were gonna do this all over again, I would definitely do it differently. In multitude of ways.
Yeah. You know what? We will talk about that as well. We have a lot to talk about here on the first episode back for the bunker. Now, little bit of an update here just for you guys. We are deeming this now the bunker underground because above ground is McVenom's haven. So whenever she's back, we'll have the nice settings. It's going to be a lot worse. This is my last day here. I'm getting kicked out. It's no longer rent controlled, so I have to go underground. I have my own little shack, and that should be up next week. I had to just wait for some permits because there's apparently some places you can't put boxes because it blocks the fire exit. So it gets complicated. It gets complicated when you're trying to prepare for a zombie apocalypse underground. Just doesn't work out well.
Welcome to bunker.
I had a buddy that was actually looking to buy one of those old missile silos.
Mm-hmm. You know,
that
because
were just
of COVID, people created luxury like missile silos and bunkers and were selling it because people just wanted to make sure they didn't die from a virus that was turning people into zombies.
Yeah. He found one that had a solar panel operated or energized or electrified, powered by solar panels, the elevator. Because, you know, as you can imagine, a missile silo is really down into the earth, like far. So that's in the city. That would be the worst walk up ever. If you ever needed to like get groceries or, you know, see the sun ever again, it would be really, that's a lot of steps. Like imagine Brad Pitt in, what was that movie where he had to go with his dad, and his dad was like causing Earth to explode. I know this.
Snatch.
No. It was something random like Galacticus or, you know, like, God, it's gonna bother me. I'm gonna have to Google it. Someone in chat's probably like, dude, you're an idiot. That's clearly this name, and they're probably writing it, but I'm not into it right now. Not in chat right now, which I normally am.
Nothing yet in chat to help you.
That's not Tree of Life. Oh God, Why is it so hard?
Ad Astra is what Buzzsaw
Yes.
says.
Yes. Ad Astra.
And Buzzsaw saves the day.
Yeah. See? Knew it. I knew the watchers were going to find or know it. And I should know it too, but I don't know. Maybe it's just being away for so long. I've lost my sharpness.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we'll do a little bit of personal catch up here in a little bit, but since we're here for State of Survival, let's talk a little bit about State of Survival and what's been happening in the game. I'll start with State 359 here. Before we left, we actually got the Migo in our state. So we finally got it. Delayed, but finally got it. Now, here's the thing that I've noticed.
I guess you're not digging it. Dad joke like
Yes.
that.
Yeah,
No,
it works
solid.
with the hat. It works with the hat. Okay, so what I don't understand is why they have the digging event set up so that everybody is competing for like the same digs, and they don't do it similar to the way where it's like Intel, where the one that you find is yours, right? Like it's just everybody is competing for these things. Now, there are ways around it, and I'll talk about some of the strategies I have, but I know I'm a little late to the game with the Migo. I think you guys had it in 1 or 2 cycles before. I think we were like cycle 5 or 4 or something. But what did you guys think of that portion of the digging? Because I found it kind of ridiculous. There's ways around it, but it's not. It doesn't make it too much fun, honestly.
It was extremely tedious, because I'd be fighting with like my own like alliance, or like there's 1 alliance, 2 alliances that I just won't mess with because it's just like, hey man, they're cool, like why am I going to mess with them? And then all of a sudden it's just like, oh dude, the digging event ends up taking so much longer than it should, and it's just like, wow, this is kind of a hassle. So like I actually still haven't unlocked everything in our Migo store because, or like I haven't built up my like facility or my station, as they call it, like completely because of that, because of me like lacking my digs and finding good dig packets also, because it's like, because it's such a tedious thing, I'm like, oh, that's a green when I could get a blue, or, it's a blue when I should get a purple. And I just want to kind of get it over with. I find myself missing out on like vital things, the drills that are like the toughest things to find.
Well, and the RNG for those crates is ridiculous too. I'll get like 15 crates and I'll get one of them has a drill in it. Like it's just ridiculous. I've got 27,000 bolts right now, and I've got 400 drills.
Yeah, and it's like nowhere close to what you need to like completely max everything out.
Yeah,
it's also like I also found that was like it's kind of really not important because like the stat boost isn't really like, so I started like paying less attention to it, and then the underground seemed to like disappear like that too. Yeah, and I was just like, how's that possible? Like I'm doing it myself and I'm like, all right, this is cool. And I'm like, I'm taking chips at it. And then I'm like, I literally go run like 1 intel mission and whatever I was attacking is gone. And I'm like, all right, I don't see how that's possible.
Yeah, the Migo event or the underground event, I'd go to bed and come back and be like 3 floors deeper already. And be like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah, and you just spend like half the time just like literally going down and just going and doing the different levels, which is like if everything's cleared, it should automatically kind of port you there.
I will say if you want to hack the digging though, for you guys who still have a lot of digging, like we've got a week left of Migo until we're done with season 1. I guess apparently there's a season 2 coming too, but if you want to hack the digging, the first half hour of the dig increases the chances of purples on Sunday and blues on Monday and Wednesday. So if you're in the first half hour, you're almost guaranteed to get blues. I mean, you might get a green or 2, but you just you spend the 30 stamina to get rid of the green, and you go to a different area of that dig. And I mean, I'll get 10 blues in the first half hour and then be done for the rest of the 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and
that's all.
And what you said there is one of the things I noticed in order to make my life a lot easier is finding other dig sites. So if you guys are not familiar with how it works, if you look on your map and then you zoom out on the Migo digs, there's 4 areas where you can actually search for the dig sites. And so most people, when they click on just like the event and they click like go to, it puts them in like a populous area where there's a lot of other alliances, and a lot of people just want to avoid moving. But if you zoom out, you can force the explorer in one of those other different areas and then start digging there. And you can actually find dig sites and not have a lot of competition. If you want, you can just send like 5-6 minute marches to go get the dig site and then just come back without moving. Or I typically will teleport into the area, right? I'll relocate somewhere and then go ahead and just get stuff and then port back into the hive. So you can finish your digs off pretty much that same way. I'm at the point, honestly, just because of how crazy it is, that I'm just literally just doing 10 digs. Like, I'm not bothering with like blue, purple, all that. Like, I get what I get and move on. And I mean, I'm building my Migo building. It's just taking a while. I'm like about halfway done. So we'll see how much I can actually get done here. But it's a weird event. The fact that you're kind of competing against, in some ways, your alliance in order to get things. Yeah. Right? If you're fighting other alliances, that's different. But to fight within your own alliance to try and get dig sites, like there were quite a few times where I would like find a site, and just as I'm about to go ahead and send something, I see blue lines going to the exact same one, and I'm like, I can't do that. I can't try to hit him. I don't want to try. I'm just going to leave it be and move on. So there are some things that I wish they had just done a little differently with this. And the large thing is that I wish they had incorporated more of the like the intel style with these, where it's like what you see is what you get and you just move on. So, but what else would you have liked to see in terms of this event? Because like you said, there's season 1. Sounds like there's going to be a season 2 and who knows what else. So hopefully they make some improvements for that. So what else would you have wanted to see for that?
I would also prefer to like not have, 5 states or 4 states?
5.
5. I wish it wasn't 5 states, that it was spread across, because that's, even though like, I think it's, what are we, 120 through 125? I feel like, even though like the participation in probably the states 120 or 125, which we actually have never faced in SBS, which is surprising because you think that you would actually go against states that are closer to you. I think the closest state we've ever faced is 134 in SBS. And, it's like, judging by how fast the Migo portion or the underground tasks go, it should be a much smaller pool of things, because it's like there's still I'm playing against people that are still like supremely into the game and they're just blowing it out, and it's just like, wow, like that's intense, like, so either they've got like a very weak state where there's not a lot going on and participation's really going on, or they're a very strong state and people are just still going after the game 500 days later, which is possible, not very likely, but it's possible. But yeah, I would like a smaller state like grouping, because it just felt like, day one, you're not on the game 24/7. It's like, I'm completely out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're at 121 to 126. It is checked.
That's what it is.
So 6.
And like, yeah. And it's like, I kind of don't need the cross-state chatter too. Like the extra chat is just
I actually don't even
pointless.
pay attention to that, honestly.
I think I've looked at it one time when it first popped up, and I was like, oh, there's a new chat, and I was like, oh, this is toxic. So
yeah. This is awful.
Like,
so
I like interacting with people in my state why do I need to interact with people in like other states where there's really like nothing?
Nothing.
Like the only
I'll
only
never
time I'm
face you
even,
in SBS.
yeah.
So why is this? Why are we even? Like why are we on the same wavelength at all?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will say sometimes, no, there's absolutely no point. No point.
No, to annoy you.
Yeah.
Because you get
I
the
mean,
if they can do the shout out with the bullhorn thing and that shows up on your screen even from like the Migo chat.
oh,
Like
awful,
it is a useless chat. I think
awful.
this Migo channel just honestly just needs to go. Yeah,
Um,
it just needs to go.
yeah.
Okay, so we'll continue talking about some of the stuff with what's happening in the game, but I do want to shout out those of you that are in the chat, so make sure you type something if you guys want to shout out. We have Feminist Sexy Wolf as the first one here with the eyes. Of course, we are here, Mr. Sexy Wolf. We are here indeed. Late as always, some things just never change. We have Liquid Snake here, and then we have Buzzsaw here. And let's see, who else do we have? I think that's everyone in chat. You guys are active in chat, so I like that. Liquid Snake is asking, Finn, you're in SVS. I mean, our state is, of course. Our alliance is not competing necessarily for the top spot. So we kind of create like a state alliance sometimes and then do stuff. So that's probably what's going to happen. I am a lowly Plasma 1 at the moment. So I will not be necessarily involved in some of it. But yeah, I will be there to get points and then log off. that's what I have realized is my purpose at this point.
Suicide rally, and you're done.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I have in news, I have finished off all research associated with the hospital. I don't know if there's anything in the Plasma Institute, but in just the regular research area, I have finished everything related to the hospital. I have also finished the entire middle line, so all tool and construction upgrades are done. And I am about to finish all of the troop stuff, which means I will almost be maxed out with development soon. Development and research is almost maxed out. I am excited.
That's big.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
At Plasma 1, you're way ahead of schedule.
And I still have all those speed ups and everything saved. I have not cashed in yet. I am about to cash in, and yeah, I have not cashed in yet. So it's going to be an interesting few weeks. If I can get I'm going to be requesting, hopefully, from the next governor for the governor's buff. And then I have a lot of upgrades that I'm going to be doing once I get that. So
speaking of, we just got instituted with the up to Plasma 8. And good news is I was able to get to almost everything almost up to Plasma 7 without putting in a dime, right? When I started, I feel like I had close to 20,000 plasma. I've got about 15,000 plasma right now after going from Plasma 5 to literally 20 of the new, I think it's 18 short of the new plasma to get to full Plasma 7. And I just restarted my game because it's you have to build a new building. And the funny thing was that I tried to build a new building and it said I had no space. I have so many decorations from buying all of those packs and putting them on my base that it literally made me destroy something. I had to take out decorations in order to put a building down. And I was like, what am I going to destroy roads or I'm going to have to reformat this?
Institute. I couldn't press the Plasma Institute when it first came out. I had no space.
I was like, what? I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Maybe somewhere down the line they go ahead and give 3 extra cubes all the way around your settlement so you could use all of this stuff, because it was like, what's the point in having it? Because it's a big part of the packs. Like they advertise it, they show it to you, they go, yeah, this is great, go ahead and build these statues and stuff like that, and then you can't put a building down.
Like, Migo's got what 7 event specific decorations.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just like, wow, all right, yeah, you're gonna keep giving me this stuff, or you're not giving me any more space to put it. I don't want to take my trees down.
No,
those maple trees, those cost bios. That was bio caps. That was an investment right there.
You do get them back, by the way.
Really? If you demolish a tree? I would never cut down a tree.
I figured that out a while ago. So that is a way that you can kind of launder your bio caps. Any of the items that you sell with bio caps, you get the bio caps back. You can launder bio caps and hide them in there.
Are your bio caps dirty? Do you need to launder them?
I mean, let's not talk about how I come across my bio caps. I mean, that's gonna get me potentially in trouble. So we're just gonna leave it at that. Let's just say some laundering of bio caps needs to be done periodically. I mean, that's all I gotta say. Just periodically, not always.
I thought that was what the incubator was for.
That only does a little bit. See, it doesn't allow for all of the bio caps to be put in there, right? So you have to do your own kind of cleansing.
My wife found my zombie coffee cup and is taunting me with it. She's literally taunting me with it off screen. She's like, "Don't you want this? Don't you want this cup?"
She is a smart woman.
That got her. I scared her away. I was gonna put her on camera. She ran. So yeah, that's interesting. I did not know that about destroying trees and getting your money back.
Yep.
I guess if you ever need that like last little bit to heal your troops, to rush heal your troops, you can start destroying destroying trees.
Yeah. That is
Solid
always
play.
available for you there, just in case. All right. So there were some developer notes, some developer feedback that came in today. So we'll review that and talk a little bit about what they said, because there was one thing in particular that I did want to kind of comment on. So the first one is the skin store and themed event Lucky Machine. Now they're going to bring this up for testing. They're testing it in some of the newer states. So they're testing it in 553 to 564. So it's about 10, 11 states, right, that they're testing this in. And they said players are able to get skin store tickets via the Lucky Machine feature. If the test works well, we may release the Lucky Machine in all states older than 2 weeks on July 13th. And they're doing the test today. So the test should be available on those states, and then possibly available to everybody else on the 13th. I'll start with you, Delete. What are your thoughts on them distributing skins kind of in a new way? Because they really haven't been tied to things like Survival of the Fittest or SVS, especially lately, right? They might be associated with like the special events, but even those really haven't had it, and it's been like the 7 days are just like part of the rotation that you have to spend currency on. So what are your thoughts on this as a new way for getting skins?
I mean, so like the only way at first they tested it with like 30-day skins, right? They weren't permanent, from what I saw. I mean, I'm in like a state that's got a like walker at this point in this game, so I saw some screenshots where it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna make people pay for like 30-day skins. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of lame. And then the next iteration of it was like, oh, we're gonna go ahead and make people pay for permanent skins, but we're gonna make it like outlandishly expensive. And I was just like, well, they are kind of outlandishly expensive, because the only way to win permanent skins in the past were to go ahead and kill that event. Like you had to do, even in 125, if you don't do on average, I'd say 11,000 in like the do the damage to the character event where you're like shooting arrows or whatever the case may be, painting walls or whatever, you weren't in the top 10. In order to get to that 11,000, you had to buy the max pack, which is, let's see, it's 5, 10, 20. So that's, So once you do the math on it, it's like $180. 100, actually it's more than that. It's closer to $200, in that pack of real money. And then do on top of that, expend like a lot of hours of your speed ups in order to get to that 11,000. On top of doing everything in the, like, do your extra explore events, or do your, make sure that you kill like the spawned thing, or make sure that your like alliance is maximizing those spawned kills, that are explorer missions, and that's how I do it. I get really crafty with it, and I make sure I'm like, okay, these are the times that most people are on, and this is when they're spawning them. So, we'll have one member pop one, and then multiple members are kind of go in. So this way everyone gets a piece and does enough damage. So this way you can maximize the rewards on that, because those add up pretty quick. So long story short, permanent skins should be expensive. If you're buying them to catch up, they should be expensive. Because that just, if you don't have it that way, you're allowing pay to win players to basically, or people that only log into the game to buy packs to catch up, which is kind of unfair, because you basically completely discard the people that play on a daily basis and are active daily. And you're allowing people that just come in to just, oh, I'll just buy it, to kind of get there. So it's kind of not fair, and to be honest, it's kind of not fair.
Okay, and Mako, I don't know if you saw, so Feminist Sexy Wolf said the price for some of the skins were about $1,000. So what are your thoughts?
I know Sin shared something in our Discord for Law that the one skin costs 100,000 biocaps, or roughly around there. And I think he said there's one skin every week and it changes. So it's random what week you're going to get. But I mean, you're looking at 100,000 biocaps for anybody who's not paying to get them is probably a month and a half's worth of playing to get 100,000 biocaps. So, I mean, unless there's a skin you really want, most people probably aren't going to be paying that much.
Yeah.
And at this point, like in 125, if I buy one permanent skin, I mean, woohoo, 2%, when Delete's got 27%, whatever, from all of his skins that he's gotten the right way during the events by going top 10. So, I mean, if your play style, like, there's one skin that I would like, and that was the wolf one or whatever. I thought that HQ looked pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But other than that, most of the skins are like, whatever. I wasn't a big fan of the Easter egg bunny one. The carnival one was all right. There's some of them are just like, yeah, okay, it's a skin. But the people who need to fight for capital or for towers or rally leaders, they need it for the stat boost, the 2% attack, 2% defense, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
Sexy Wolf just being a gift code hog. That's a lot of hogging of gift codes. That's a lot of hogging.
I mean, so 100,000 caps, if you were just going to buy caps, that's $200. That's $200 right there. If you were just buying like the cap buy, without anything else, which is, I mean, that's kind of really should be more expensive. I mean, just from me not like, so in my backpack, it's like as fortresses and bunkers go on, and like I don't open up like the supply crate or like the first occupancy crate, and I kind of let those sit, like presently I've got, let's see, unopened caps. I've got probably 185,000 in unopened caps right now in my base, just because I just haven't put them together, So, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I do want the skins that I'm missing, because I'm missing like 4. I'm missing the permanent carnival. I'm missing the like turkey one, the like Burning Man one. I'm missing like those three, which are random, really random. I just went through a phase where it's just like, you know what? I'm not going to spend on the game anymore. I'm just like, I'm not going to do it. So that's why I missed the Burning Man one. But the turkey one, I was just like, this one looks lame. It's got a turkey coming out of it. I was like, why do I even want that? And I'm presently fully maxed. My overall attack is 158.75%. And also I haven't done enough to get the Migo skin, which buff. I don't even know how buff in our alliance got that Migo skin. That is intense.
It's like what, top 10 in a weekly challenge or something?
Yeah. I was like, wow, dude, that's hard. That was kudos to him. I haven't even told him in alliance chat, but I'm like, I'm jealous. I'm jealous he's got that skin. But yeah, I saw what it took to kind of get it, and I was like, I just don't have that much time.
Right.
I don't have that time. That's an insane amount of time. That's doing everything all day.
Yeah.
All right. So that was the first thing of the two things that they had in the developer feedback, and I think that was the bigger of the two things. The second one was just an update on the Migo rankings, which kind of got messed up because they had an issue on the back end. They're trying to correct it. They're trying to provide some fixes and compensation for it. So, I mean, my thoughts on that are just, it happens. They're trying to fix it. There's pretty much just fix it and move along, right?
I do feel like there's almost every other day lately, there's just like, hey, sorry, we're fixing something, and it's like, I don't even know what you're fixing, but I'm just getting free stuff, so I'm okay with it. I mean, I haven't noticed. So whoever's out there that's like super sleuthing it and just being like, hey, I didn't get this, and it says I was supposed to get this, keep on keeping on, man, because you're fighting that fight, or woman, you're fighting that fight for everybody.
All right, so with that, we also had 2 weeks of, actually we had more than 2 weeks. We had about 3 weeks of missed developer feedback. So I do have those as well. So we'll talk about those.
There's a biggie in there.
Yeah.
There's a biggie in there too.
Do you want to bring out one in particular before I just go through these? And then we can.
Yeah. I mean, I briefly read it, and then I dropped my phone, and I just got pretty upset that like state mergers weren't happening until October now, because it was July, and here we are in July, and now they pushed it back to October.
Well, and it's October for a select few states, and then depending on how well that goes, by the end of the year, it'll get pushed to more states.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and it looks like it's concentration of pure merge.
Yeah.
Not like let you jump around. It's just, hey, so, state 5 and state 8 are dead. So let's go ahead and merge those. And that's lame.
Yeah.
That is so lame. Comparatively to like what I wanted, which is kind of just to bounce and leave the not all the individuals that I'm in with 125, because like Mako, and Nikki, and Nero, and like there are, I'm going to leave out so many people. I feel like I'm doing the announcements at the Oscars, like I just won something, like there are people I'm definitely going to leave out in this speech, and doesn't mean that I don't love them. But there are people I want to ditch and literally have out of my life completely. And I won't be able to do that. I'll be stuck with them forever, which sucks. Even though that I've come onto the show and been like, I will drop a significant amount of money to just get the hell out of there with my base, but I can't. Awful.
So let's read that one. That was actually the feedback from last week. So we'll go through those. So the first question that they had was why we didn't hear any news about the merge feature scheduled in July. And the response was, in fact, the dev team have already updated stage merge plan twice and worked on that in the past few months. However, in the process of development and testing, we are constantly reviewing and updating the original plan to achieve our expectation, which delayed the feature. So I'm going to start there. if they're trying to get something done and it's causing a delay, I would rather them get it right than get it done fast, right? Even though I know you're waiting until, so the next question was, when will state merge be released online? We currently have completed the design plan and basic merge logic of this feature. It is under development stage right now. First batch of merging states will have access to that feature in October, right? So while it is delayed, I mean, Delete, would you agree that you would rather have it done correct rather than being done fast? Because if it gets done fast and it's not done right, who knows what kind of mess they're gonna make, right?
Yes and no. If they're merging, right? If they're merging, it depends. I mean, there's multiple factors, but like, when a state opens up, there are a lot of people, right? There's a lot of activity. I'm going to say it's more than 1,000 people. It's probably closer to like 2,500 for all I know, because there's just a lot of bases out there. There's no way, unless they're anticipating the fact that like so many people that are probably just stop playing the game automatically turn the game back on, and they're just like, oh, wait, what's going on here? I was in this state, now which I don't see happening. The chances of someone picking back up the game, which is why after 6 days, if you start playing the game after not being on, you start getting a different bundle, which is, I wonder if anyone's ever tried to milk that system and just been like, you know what? Every 6 days, I'm just going to go ahead and stop playing and then come back in and get all my heroes for the cheap. I guess that's strategy. I don't know how that would work.
My alt has done it like 7 times, so it's got like 550 1-hour speed ups. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So I mean, but it depends on what they're doing, because I can't imagine them going ahead and merging like 3 states and then having a problem. I can't see how that would cause a problem. Especially 3 states that are around 125. I don't see how they're like, oh, we're out of space, or like, this doesn't work. Light mode is slowing down too much because of the activity. I don't see how that would be an issue whatsoever. So I don't know what the back end issues would be. It would probably cause like, hey, people would merge, people would like shift alliances would be taken down, would come up, would whatever, like there would probably be a killing spree, like it would just be chum in the water, which is a problem with merges, because it's like your big bases, right, have a tendency to swallow little bases. And the reason that people kind of quit the game is just because it's like, it's just kind of more of the same. And I don't really want to attack the same people. And there's just no benefit to attacking when I lose so many troops as a big base, attacking a little base or whatever the case may be. Or if in our state, a really big base likes to target little people for no apparent reason. And then it's just like, well, I can't rebuild this, so I'm just done. So you're merging activity, and it's going to cause people to stop playing, because it's going to be like, I have no idea who you are, so I'm just going to obliterate So that's why I was always against the merge factor. It should be, all right, here it is. You lose a percentage of your base depending on where you go, or you can only jump to this amount of states that have had the same opportunities that you have, or up or down, whether it's like, if I wanted to go to an older state, I could. If I wanted to go to a slightly newer state, I also could. And I thought like the docking of my base would be something that, I would opt into. If I were to lose like 30% of my base and skins to go into 359 with my base, I would do it in a heartbeat. Lose 30% of my like currency in game, I would opt in, sign an NDA, not tell anyone, and I would do it in a heartbeat. So it just emerging. It's just like, man, I don't feel like that's enough for the people that are playing, that are just like, nah, great. I think people truly that want to jump want a new experience, or want to experience something new, with a new group, with their group of people. I would take at least 40 members of law to anywhere that I would go.
So we have active right now.
Yeah, and I'm like, and the part of that reason is like, I know you're going to keep playing because you like the game. I'll take you guys. I'll roll with you guys everywhere. So it's like to kind of take that and be like, all right, now we've got to go ahead and like merge with, the other top whatever, which they would surely love. But then I'm merging with people that are close to quitting the game more than anything else because they're like, great, we're going to go ahead and just have more active fortresses and bunkers now. Oh, I mean, our fortresses and bunkers right now, no matter which one we go into, last 2 hours every time. And it comes down to who can time their last rally the best, which my strategy is pretty much unmatched, except one time when I got a phone call during a damn facility, and it pissed me off, and I missed it. I missed it by a little bit, and I took that one on the chin. But today we won, and we actually didn't even have a full rally, which is pretty funny.
Right.
My fault. That was my fault. So we did a 1 minute rally, and because I forgot there's an extra button when you decrease the amount of riders and hunters in your rally, it tells you like, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to have that little rider? And I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have slid all of these into place because they're not like they're preset unless I wanted it. So it's a stupid button. And then I missed it by a second. So I had to do a 1 minute rally, which causes all kinds of panic and frenzy. You think like, all right, that's 60 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And it's not. It's really awful. People send the wrong marches. Shit's all over the place.
Oh.
Everyone's joining all over the place. People forget to join.
You gotta take the equalize button just off the screen. Get rid of it.
Yeah, just get rid of it. It's awful. We were yelling at people. I mean, we're 500 days in, and we're yelling at people, and they just gave us another preset march, and people can't preset their damn rally, which is insane, or can't figure out what 60%, 20%, and 20% equals in their rally. 500 and whatever days in. That's just insanity.
All you gotta do is just slide it so it looks like it. Like just hunter right, and then slide up freaking infantry.
Yep. Guesstimate as much as you can.
Right. I'm like, I literally, Mako, I've never thought of it that way, but your infantry slider should look double of your other two. That's it. And you're done. You're done. That's brilliant. I'll bring that up next time. But it's been awful. I mean, a facility for rewards that suck and are dated that last 2 hours is something that is ridiculous. I think that is causing the complete downfall of activity in the game. It's the fact that nothing's really being updated in your day to day. Yeah. It's been exactly the same, which is just crazy.
At day 500, who the hell needs Maddie and Nicola fragments? Like, seriously.
Right.
You're
the fact that that's never changed, that's the craziest thing in this game, is the fact that that's never changed.
I mean, just think of how much resources we went through today on healing from a 2-hour freaking facility for a freaking Maddie fragment on it. Because everybody goes for the good one, which is the freaking parts, and then everybody's left with the leftovers on the other 3.
It's so crazy. It's just insane. It's like there's the bunker is like, all right, you're like your books, okay, I'll deal with that, but skill books and speed ups are okay, but skill books, which have extinguished from the game, are still just actively part of packs, and Ray's Place still has skill books, which is ridiculous. And it's like, dude, that's a Ray's Place is one of the most expensive and worst turnback, comebacks for what you're doing it for heroes in the world. So, and it's the fact that you can turn that on and you're just like, oh, wow, 1 million in reserves. Oh, a couple skill books. Oh, and Oh, the badges. I got a couple of hero badges that I've hadn't to use in years. So I can recycle those. So it's like everything in there is literally reserves and a 5% chance to get the hero that you want, and and then it's more reserves or reserves or something that they completely taken out of the game. So bad.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, we'll see what they're doing. I do like the fact that they're being pretty open about it, though, right? That is a change.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad, whenever you're going to do something, it's better to do it right. I mean, in this scenario, I feel like even though they're trying to do it right, I feel like they went about it the wrong way. But I mean, it's better than like, oh, we messed up. We've got to go ahead and revert you back to your old state.
Yeah.
And causing like, where it's like, wow, I've got 3 hours of server maintenance that I've got to look forward to, because that's not great either. So
it's just because I saw the episode recently. It reminds me of like the Rick and Morty episode that was just on, where they decide to go from planet hopping to all the planets that were about to get like blown up and destroyed, and each one was having like an Armageddon party, and then they stopped the Armageddon on one of them, and all of them are just like, well, this is awkward. I thought we weren't going to see each other tomorrow. I'm just picturing that with like state merges, like delete leaves like 60 people behind in law, just like takes 40 people, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we got to revert you back, and all of a sudden he's with everyone from law. It's like, well, hi guys.
This is weird. I'm sorry. That'd be awkward. That'd be extremely awkward.
Yes.
But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. It's just, I feel like I'm very close to the point where I need something in the game. Like it's my personal, my business life is getting busier and busier. And it's tough for me to be on this stuff. And like, I mean, State of Survival it's a time suck, because it's a game that you can spend as much time as you want in game. You really can. You could be on State of Survival the entire day without question, whether it's research or doing whatever, even like now, if I just want to go crazy and I was like, I'm going to burn all my bread, it would probably take me a week straight of playing 24 hours a day to get through all of my bread and doing explorer missions, and I could probably 80 all of my heroes from it, but I'm like, I'm not really, I don't want to do that. Like I don't have time for that. So now I'm like trying to figure out how this plasma purification, because I logged in today and it was just like, oh, I'll just use the plasma purification more today. And I'm like, I've got no more chances to purify my plasma. I don't know what the game wants from me in order to get more plasma.
yeah,
This special plasma.
Yes,
Anyway.
it is polymerized, purified plasma, something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, good news is it cost me $0, because I've been playing every day the right way for a really long time. So I've built up so much stuff. I've done all the things that got me to the place that I am as a settlement, and I've continued to do them. So I get rewarded by not having to put additional funds in there for stuff that I already have. But it's like the explanation of how the new building works was non-existent. The new videos that come up in that new building also are kind of weak. I mean, like the if you also used to call it the paper airplane, like the new like community thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I go in there and I'm like, what the hell is this? It's like new content creators, and they're bringing up something that's like really old and not really relevant to anything that I'm doing right now in my state. And maybe people are getting stuff out of it. I don't see how though, because we've covered it all in this show. In this show, we've covered all the stuff that's in that like content creator stuff.
Yeah. All right. Bussa, I saw your message. So Bussa wrote earlier. He said, "Here is my hot tip. If you click on the refined plasma icons to the right of the heat meter when you've achieved the level, you get free purified plasma." So I don't know if you're
I'm
able
doing
to...
that right now,
Okay.
and I've got 0.
So
I mean, I'm at a, I don't know. And then it says daily special. I don't even know what this means. I'm like, all right. So it's like, and we have one character, actually, one settlement that made it all the way to 7-star because he got lucky. And like, it gave him, when you're like tapping the thing, it's like ×3, ×10, he got the ×10. And the other, like the couple other people that have played the game that are like up there, like max bases, didn't get lucky. And he's the 1 7-star. So it's just like, oh, thanks, game. You really rewarded the best person for that. Just kidding.
Buzzsaw saying
Yeah,
you
so I
should
don't
see
know.
a green check mark once you click it.
Oh, it took me 58 taps on it to get it. Buzzsaw, I'm just so proud. I'm just so proud right now.
Incoming 7-star.
Yeah, exactly. Where am I at? I can't get to 7. I'm so close. It's funny. I didn't even use the talent to like, maximize, because I did it all in like 5 minutes. Actually, it took me a little bit longer than that because it's a lot of taps to get from 5-star to 7-star once you get your hero precinct and everything else. But I didn't do I have so many building speed ups. It's insane. My morale building speed ups were like 13,000 minutes. So I really didn't have to, I didn't have to put a dime into it. But the difference between, by the way, the difference between your talents for people that don't like change their talents when they're doing big shifts from development to, your war talents. I was at 14 days. I'm at 7 now for switching my talents.
Yeah, so you get a lot of percentage off.
Yeah. Wow. It adds up big.
Okay. So, let me just see. So Bussa also had a question, so I'll get the question here. It says, I completely don't get the purpose of Migo other than more money. Dig competition with your own alliance mates, get stuff from dig sites, upgrade things that seem silly, then get new skills. Yeah. So, I like, in concept, the Migo event seems kind of cool, but it does seem to lack like a really cohesive purpose. So I tend to agree. Mako, what do you think?
Basically, the only thing you get out of Migo is the wall breaker, and they built it up to be something that's amazing, and it's not really that great. Because once you max out the wall breaker, it still takes 2 hits to break somebody's wall, move them out of the capital area. And then once you've hit somebody, once they port back, they cannot be hit with wall breaker again for like 24 hours. So it literally just cost them 1 teleport, which I've got 74 in my backpack as a free to play. So I can't even imagine how many they have as a freaking 7-star right now.
Yeah, unless you plan it out perfect, where it's like it's the last like 2 minutes of capital. It's not really that big of an advantage.
So they added a cooldown, so once you knock someone, you can't knock them again.
Yeah, we found that out at our last SVS because we were trying to hit their big rally leader for the main alliance in 136. I think we were playing or something. Yeah. And I logged on at like 6 hours into capital, and they're like, "Yep, hit him." And I go in, they're like, "Nope, he's cooldown for 13 more hours." Like, okay.
Huh.
Oh. Something that could have been really cool that was just meh when it landed.
Yeah, that doesn't seem all that useful anymore.
I mean, as far as spend, I feel like Migo's spend isn't like that crazy. I don't feel like, I mean, it's not like a money grab. Like you could, like, I guess an underground task, you could buy the the extra oxygen tanks or whatever, that allow you to attack more. But like even the underground tasks, like we touched on before, was just, not really that big a deal. It's not really that big a deal at all. And the weekly, I feel like the weekly goals it sets to kind of give you like that free whatever, like the like achievement, isn't really that hard to achieve either.
No.
If you're just running your dailies, and kind of like just kind of paying attention a little bit, you'll hit those weekly targets.
Ooh, Aerith.
So,
Welcome, Aerith, by the way. Glad to see you again. Aerith comes in with an interesting point. She says, we hit ourselves to prevent the opponent from hitting us. So you basically force the cooldown. That's an interesting idea for sure.
You definitely could. I mean, if it would take there's weird rules about like leaving the alliance, and also you can't just wall break anyone.
You can work with your other alliances, right? For SVS,
oh yeah.
Another alliance can wall break you, force you on cooldown, and then you can do your alliance stuff.
And just be there the entire time.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah. Wow. That thinking's way above my pay grade. It makes more sense than I ever would have thought. But it was like such a non-factor. I didn't even get. No one even like really, like even tried, to kind of hit me out. That would have been an immediate 0. I would say. So this was something that I was thinking about, just like overall, like because once you get to a certain amount, right? Once you have like a certain amount of troops and you're a certain strength, it's pretty much impossible for you to really get zeroed, right? Like even if you're getting hit, it would take so many attacks. But I wonder what it would be like.
And still try.
It's like just using the like 5-star plasma with 3 million troops. Using me for an example, how many attacks would I need to take from a 3-star or multiple 3 stars solo in order to actually do any damage to me?
I mean, 3-star would be difficult. Like you're probably injuring on their side, like at least wounding and killing a total of somewhere probably around like 52,000 or so, right?
I'd say
that.
More than that. And then you're probably only taking probably a few thousand of wounded.
Yeah.
You're looking at probably the average 3-stars probably got purple gear level 1 or level 2. Hero gear is probably purple level 2, level 3 maybe. Research, depending on what they focused on, if they're going straight battle, they could be pretty good. But I mean, against your research or any other 5-star research, they're probably going to be dwarfed by your battle percentages. So you're looking at least every stat's going to have red arrows down. I'd say they're probably taking 70,000 out of 140,000 mark, 50% roughly. I mean,
I wish there was a way to sort the war stats by people that have attacked you. So you could see all of their, like this person attacked you on these dates, and you could see all of it, because that would help in a situation like this. Because I feel like not too long ago, I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to hit this dude. I don't even care. He's probably fully reinforced, but I'm still going to hit him just to see what would happen. All right, so I hit 170. I'm 805 BP. I hit 170 million BP person. And I did 193,000 in losses and 202,000 losses to them. And I took 50,000 altogether. So that's a 1-to-6 ratio right there. Which means that you would have to run through. You would have to literally be using the like your killed or your losses go to wounded, emptying your hospital, using your biggest march, and you would have to hit someone. That's 30 times at least.
It'll
to
probably
actually
increase
do
in
any
number, though.
damage.
Because probably each of your attacks are slowly going to eat away the infantry. So if they're actually built up somewhat evenly, once you kill the infantry, everything else is going to die quicker too.
Right, right, right. You know, so that would just be, and then once the hospital's filled, then that's it.
Yeah.
You know, then they're just taking pure losses.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you really want to hurt someone, it's like, all right, you know, why don't like 5 people that are quitting the game just go suicide this one player? And it was just like, yeah, I don't know how much that would do. They would have to suicide, and then a big player would have to come in after and continue it on. Take losses, but they would be taking losses nonetheless. They would be taking like heavier losses after a while.
Yeah.
So it would take at least 6 bases going basically flat out healing, flat out spending all their caps, flat out only using their strongest march, and then someone coming in after and just really just kind of going in and just being like, all right, we just took 2 million troops from you. Just an idea.
Yeah.
Just an idea that I came across in my twisted mind. Because I'm like, you know, once you get to a certain level, there's no fear. There's no longer any fear.
Yeah.
You know, there's no one's ever going to come at me. I'll eat your rally all day. I was like, my phone will just show me that I'm getting rallied, and I would actually not even tune in, and I would just let it hit and go on later and be like, that was a joke. You know, like, please hit me nonstop.
Well, then the problem with the rallies, it's 5 minutes where the rest of your alliance just freaking rains you anyways. So then you're filled up with however many troops you've got plus 1 million left for reinforcements.
Right. You know, so it's just like everyone else is just kind of just raking in kills. Not that that's a stat that anyone even pays attention to
Apex.
at all.
Apex.
Yeah. Apex. Mr. Apex never has that many infantry lying around the bar in his settlement. Those dudes are always out for war.
If he has infantry, that means they're not doing their job and out attacking something. That's the Apex philosophy. So, all right. So, yeah, Aerith's saying that she can't wait until the Yith event, season 2. I'm kind of looking forward to that too. It's an interesting concept. The way that they built up this Migo and everything. I'm not going to say that I'm not enjoying it. I think it's a different take on the events that they've done so far, so I kind of like it. But there are some things that I hope they tweak for this kind of season 2 to provide for some improvements.
I want to see where the story goes from here, because the story is pretty fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Fill me in on that. Mako, you're the only one I know that has ever read any of this.
So basically the whole thing is Gigacorp is doing these experiments in all of their different bases. So like they go to human experimentation in one research lab. Then you got the Migo research in a different lab. It's done by Dr. Ripley. And the one I just finished was one scientist got lazy and tried to get rid of all of his genetic material and gave it to the janitor. Well, the janitor dropped it and got infected. And then what they're using is the bees and the scorpions and all the arthropods to grow this Migo, because apparently Migo is like some big creature that they're trying to recreate. So what happened is they multiplied inside the janitor's body, and he actually became a hybrid wasp. So then Dr. Ripley's been trying to recreate that in the infected, which is causing the scorpions and the mutated infected in there. But then they've got stuff like there's a whole lot of stuff on the Holy Wrath. So you're learning on like the leader of the Holy Wrath died or was killed or something, and now there's 7 different factions for the Holy Wrath, and they're all led by a different leader with different ideals. And apparently leader A, which is the strongest leader they're prophets. Prophet A is the strongest leader, and he's closely related to Ripley. And it just goes on because there's people who go to. It started out with everybody was going to GigCorp for the cure, and then they were only giving away so many cures. So then all the factions, the Raiders, the Holy Wrath, and whatever we are, the Lost Hope, they're all fighting to go to GigaCorp for this thing. Then they find out that GigaCorp was lying, so they turn around and start attacking GigaCorp again. So yeah, right now I don't even know how far I am in it, but I've been doing almost all the dailies, and we're into they found out where the scorpions and the bees are, and they're trying to figure out if Ripley actually recreated this Mego creature or whatever.
That's actually not bad. That's not bad at all.
Right?
Give them kudos to that.
Mm-hmm. I wish there was a better way we could get the story, though. When you're in the middle of like doing your missions and stuff, you're really not paying attention to it. So I've caught bits and pieces of it. I didn't get like the full scope, so thank you, Mako. It helps. But like, there's times where I'm just like, I need to get all my intels and everything done, and like the dialogue box comes up, and I'm like, I need to hit skip, and then there's like really no way back.
Well, I accidentally clicked too fast and I clicked out of one. And I was like, shit, I didn't read that one. So I had to go back in and then find out where it was. So I was scrolling through stuff. I was like, all right, 2 out of 5. I'm in here. Click. And I was like, okay, this one. I read it over again. I was like, okay, now I know.
They should have like I mean, for all the cinematography that they do for the game, they should have an area where you can access it all. And if you wanted to watch it from start to finish, you should be able to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it's go onto their like a social page or their Facebook or whatever, that would be an interesting way to kind of amplify that, because it's clear that they spend a good amount of time on it, you know, and the fact that it's just like, I don't know, I would probably put that, the people reading the game, I'd probably put it at like 80% don't, you know, I really would. I mean, it might even be higher than that. So for something that they clearly like evaluating and like spending legitimate money on, because all that, you know, all that costs money, and to like put it into the game and stuff like that is a tremendous amount of money. And for them to just kind of not have a way to like access it after is kind of silly. You know, they should be able to be like, if I want to start from start to finish, and be like, yeah, I really want to know what Becca's all about, you know, and go from there. You should be able to look at it.
To bring back one of Daedric's arguments is that reading through all of these, they really need somebody to go through with grammar and punctuation and stuff. Because a lot of it will be like, you went and saw this, and is like, I mean, just a little proofreading would catch the second you. So,
yeah, I mean, as many languages this game is like translated into, you know, I mean, still struggles with the translator. I'm actually playing a different game right now, barely. You know, I was just like, I'm just looking for other stuff. You know, you never know what's out there. And, you know, every translator has difficulties, because it's just Google's not going to be cheap when you ask them to do it. You know, they've clearly spent a lot of money on it. So, you know, they're not going to be giving it away anytime soon. So, especially with how much slang everybody uses, you know, just like the different ways to say anything. I mean, I'll never forget, and I thought it was the funniest thing. In Men in Black, it was like, oh yeah, no, English, that's like some disease in the universe. There's so many different ways to say the same thing. It really doesn't, you know, it doesn't really make it easy to say just about anything.
right. Well, we had spent about a half hour last night talking to Zoe and explaining to her what a phrase was in English. Trying to translate into Chinese is like ridiculous.
Oh man, that's so hardcore. So hardcore. Zoe, love Zoe. It's probably my oldest running bit. Whenever I see her, I go, "Hi, Zoe." That's like my oldest running bit in LOL.
Yep. That there is someone who's got a lot of dedication to the game. She has 2 accounts, and both of them are, I think, one's 5-star and one's 4-star. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was just like, I remember, because we wanted to like kick her like off for like a while, and it was like, no, she's banging that out, you know, she's hardcore with it, you know. It's like B is pretty strong at this point. B's like, wow, I don't, you know, I'm not taking you out of a rally right now. Yeah, no, we've got some players, man. You know, like, you know, we've got some players in law. You know, I wish. If there was one thing that I wish, there was just, I feel like our state would be so much better without one particular group of people. Our state would damn near be perfect. Really would, you know?
At least be able to work together on SBS instead of everybody do their own shit.
Oh God. Oh
yeah. Plus, I got reconned Monday, and I've been burning through 8-hour shields because I'm saving all my resources I can go from 4-star HQ and everything else 3-star to everything 4-star, possibly 5-star HQ. The next next survival of the fittest when the new heroes drop, and I got recon with like 7 billion resources. I'm like, oh no! So I've been hiding in a corner for like the last 5 days.
I thought about actually, because you can just completely eliminate troops, So like I have so many resources. I was literally going to burn through even my T11s and just whack them all out. My T9s completely gone. Anything that's T9s, because I've never just gone through and upgraded all the free troops you get from your daily intels. So I can eliminate like a really large percentage of troops. Not that large. I mean, because I'm still like I'm still T11 out, but I could take out to the point where I could get my marches or enough people out so people could hit me and just loot me. Like I don't care about my win percentage at all. Go ahead and send one. No one's home. Boom. Have the whole alliance eat. It makes no difference to me. What am I sitting at right now? Billions upon billions served on McDonald's. Yeah, because you can't share resources. Some people are really starving for them. They're literally. Without opening anything, I'm at 10 billion of food and wood and over 1 billion in metal and gas without opening any of my resource packs.
Yeah. I have to laugh because everybody was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have to go resource hunting." I looked at my backpack and I probably got about 8 or 9 billion resources in my backpack, and I was like, if I get looted, I mean, the worst thing that's gonna happen is I'm gonna lose troops because I can refill all my resources just by opening items.
And that's just being Mako is this really solid free to play player. It's unbelievably solid free to play player, and look how much resources you have. So whenever like we have one alliance that's just like, oh, I'm attacking for resources, and I'm like, that is a petty excuse for zeroing somebody else because resources are literally not that hard to kind of go ahead and come by if you play the game.
Yeah. So I'm looking just my 100,000 items. I have 85 gas, 237 metal, 513 food, and 536 wood. That's just 100,000 items. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So it's just whatever.
All right.
T11s will tap your resources. They definitely will if you're building them like crazy. But
yeah, on your point, I totally forgot that you got free troops from Intel because I've just been on autopilot with those. I went and looked and I started upgrading. I have 27,000 of each, like tier 6 troops. I was like, what the
I only see them whenever Horde comes around. Whenever Horde comes around, it's like those are the ones that are taking the beating, and I'm like, wow, why do I have 1,500 troops in my hospital? I'm like, what happened? Oh, Horde. Today was Horde, which I'm never even on for anymore. I haven't even had to send my troops to HQ in a while. We still do whatever and still, take it down. I mean, Horde's just kind of been. Did they ever shrink the time on it?
Oh yeah, it goes really fast now. It's like 40 minutes, I think, for all 20 waves.
Oh wow, goes to show you. Like I feel like I probably get trapped once a week, maybe twice a week at max. And Horde is kind of like I haven't been on a Horde for in ages. Even though we have so many dead bases, I could just be looting points nonstop. I can make half the alliance basically. Make it all the way to level 20 because I can send 4. I can send 5 groups out and still make level 20, and everyone else kind of make level 20 with me. So I could take someone that's not going to make it all the way up if I was on, but I haven't been. It's awful. Trap is all wonky too. my trap grouping, and I got this from Sin actually. I'll give him that. So my trap, and sorry to go like completely off topic and all over the place, guys and gals.
That's
We
what we
warned
do.
them it was going to happen.
That's what we
Yeah,
do.
I miss you. You know, yeah, we do. And we've actually. It's been a long time since I've talked the game, so apparently I'm just a Gabby Gary, Chatty Cathy, Gabby Gary. Oh, here we go. So who I use is Wolf, Tyler, and Tweak as my group, and I do like like over 1 million damage over my top heroes because those definitely are my top. You know, and I do almost like 1.2 million more damage with this grouping of heroes than I do with anything else. And I go, that doesn't make any sense. There's no way that would make any sense.
Right.
But they would have a better chance of like, you know, going in and letting like Nicola like infected damage, you know, make more sense than that does.
All right. So that's been kind of a catch up over the past couple weeks with all the news and stuff in game. Yeah, we can just kind of catch people up with what we've been doing now over the past like few weeks. So as you guys I think know, the end of June was my birthday. So I was gone for a week to Virginia. So that was at that time. The week before, potentially we could have streamed, but the week before that, I couldn't stream. So it was just kind of it made sense just to kind of take off the entire time rather than just kind of like sporadically doing it for like the entire month. There is some revamping going on, of course, with the bunker. So the bunker underground will kind of continue to be built over the rest of this month. But then when I got back from my vacation at the end of last week, I got just a regular kind of cold. It was just a sinus infection. So the rest of this week, the beginning part of this week, was kind of a recovery. So there's been coughing and sneezing a lot and mucus production. So that's kind of what you get with all that. So it's been, pun intended, a very productive week with this all. And feeling a lot better now. Started to feel better a couple days ago. But unfortunately, because we were in so close proximity and everything during the vacation, my fiance did get sick too. So I've been kind of taking care of her while she's been working. But she's fine now too. She's like fully recovered. So it's been an interesting kind of couple of weeks. Plus the weeks before that, we're packing, prep, doing some other stuff. So yeah, it has been an interesting few weeks. Delete, how about you? What have you been doing on our time off?
It has been weird. You know, I've just kind of been so accustomed to kind of spending my Friday nights with you guys. You know, it was like the first time I was kind of like, all right, let me go ahead and get set up. Oh, I don't have to stream today. You know, what did I end up doing? I think I ended up going out to dinner with the wife and, you know what, but I didn't want to kind of keep that going because I didn't want to go ahead and get her like, oh, Fridays are back to us tonight, you know?
Is she right there?
No.
Oh.
No, she could probably hear me though. I'll pay for that. I'll pay for that later.
Your zombie coffee cup's gonna come flying down the stairs.
Oh my god. It's actually, you know, it's been different. I mean, it's cool spending. I mean, there are nights where I've been up, you know, until like 2 a.m, you know, like chatting away, talking game, you know, and just kind of getting to know a lot of the people that were in chat and just meeting a lot of cool people. You know, and just the last couple of weeks, I've just kind of been all over the place. You know, it's been weird kind of being fresh for my son's baseball games on Saturday mornings. You know, that's kind of been weird. You know, like tomorrow he's got golf. He's got his first golf lesson. I'm so proud. Can't wait. He's got his new stuff. And like, this is his first formal like foray into, into playing golf. It's going to be pretty cool. I hope he likes it. I hope he likes it. But yeah, I've been super dad, being the baseball dad, soccer, baseball, soccer, travel, baseball, travel, soccer, being there for my daughter for gymnastics, which has been pretty cool. But a lot of the stuff's kind of been hanging out with them, watching Luca and Bluey on Disney Plus, catching up on Bad Batch on Disney Plus, which is actually a pretty good show. I'm really happy with the way Loki's working out. I wish there was more than 6 episodes. I really do. I'm just like, I could watch. I'm really kind of becoming a Tom Hiddleston fan. He's become my new Benedict Cumberbatch in Sherlock. Oddly British guys. But yeah, life's just kind of I feel like the last time I was on, it was like I spent 2 weeks in a row having also like a nasal sinus infection kind of thing, where it's just like I'm blowing my nose on stream, using napkins and just sounding all funny. So I feel your pain, Finn. I know what you've been going through.
Oh, it was awful. Bad. It was bad the last few days. I don't know if you had the same thing too. I can't help it. I have to see what came out, but like blow my nose and look. Like it just you kind of have to see, and then when you see some of the different colors, it's just
alarming.
It is.
One of the most satisfying feelings, though, is you get that one that comes from like the back of the throat and just.
Oh yeah. Those are like my favorite ones, and they have a distinct color too. I'll just leave it at that. They have a very distinct color.
Not to be gross, but is there any science between the color of your phlegm and as far as where you are as far as sickness goes?
It's not necessarily. You can tell what caused the color. Yes, there is some depending on the color.
Because I'm like, I'm starting to get really gooey in there. It's starting to really dark green it. I'm close to being healthy.
It's usually more of an active infection if you actually see like green or color, versus when it's clear, it's more likely allergies, just causing you to produce mucus kind of cleanly.
Oh.
So color does help you to know that it's like and I was honestly doing the same thing, because when I went to Virginia, my first thought was, I think this is just because it's less humid here, like my mucus is getting more dry, like it's just causing like the symptoms. But then once you see the color, it's like, nope, it's an infection. I can't claim allergies or anything really that much anymore.
Wow.
Aerith is saying Bluey is amazing.
Bluey is so good. Oh my god. It's I'd rank that up there as far as Australian TV shows. The Deep is number 1 for me, and Bluey's number 2. I'm like, I try to be the Bluey dad. He's and the parents, because they're just like down for any game their kids want to play. Anything. Like one of the episodes, he gives his daughter like 5. It's basically do your best Jaggers kind of thing, where no matter where they are, the parents just have to have a dance party. So he's like in a store, or he's like at his job, whatever the case may be, and it's like, this dad's really into it. So look at that, dad modeling right there. Just doing it for the kids. Purely in it for the kids.
And Mako, how have you been? It has been longer than a few weeks, I think, since the last time you were on the stream. You were on the stream last time, I think, when McVenom was here. So it's just, that's how long it's been.
Yep.
Well, so shout out to McVee. McVee, miss you.
Yeah, let's see, I'm on week 3 of my new job, so I'm no longer working night shift anymore, which is a big plus. I can spend a lot of time with the kids. My oldest is in baseball every week. I took him to the driving range for golf, and he outdrove me, so we're not doing that again ever again. The littlest one is just turned 5 months last week Tuesday, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna pop a tooth because he's always crabby and drooling like a sieve. But we've started eating some food now, so he likes carrots and bananas are his favorite right now. So, and he was homesick today because daycare said he threw up yesterday and he couldn't come back today. So, took a sick day today, and we ate some apples, and he had an entire container gone in like 2.4 minutes or something. It was just ridiculous. Just shoveling it in. So,
I love it.
we're getting like once or twice a night now. So, we're working on the whole sleeping thing.
Once or twice isn't too bad at this point, so getting there.
No. Yeah.
I feel like for my daughter, there was a sleep app that we paid for where like you upload when they're sleeping and then like you do it for like 4 days and then they come back and they're like, okay, here's what you need to do. And it kind of worked actually. When we stuck to it, it was like, you have to nap at this time for this amount of time. You know, like you kind of have to force it and then, to build that routine. And my daughter did start sleeping through the night at that point. And then we started slacking off and she started waking up. And right now, my daughter she's 3 and she just wakes up at like 2 a.m, anywhere from about 12:30 to 2 a.m, hops in bed. Not easy.
Yeah.
Not easy. Sleep is, as much as I love it, I just don't get a chance to enjoy it as much as I would like.
Yeah. But there you guys go. A bit of catch up for the time we have been off. But the bunker is back. Be on the lookout for some more kind of changes as we move along here. The bunker is going to be starting to move towards the bunker underground here. Same show, same people, different graphics. That's pretty much it. And a few different changes probably with the time and everything. So just be on the lookout for that. We'll keep you guys posted. But I think before we sign off for the night, Delete, Mako, any last words you have for the people out there?
Thanks for coming back, and tell your friends, get them back. We're going to be here for a while. So, I'm very happy to see you all.
Mm-hmm.
It's glad I'm happy to be doing the show again. I'm happy to be talking the game and yeah, that's all I got. Hatless Delete, bowing Delete, waving Delete. All happy to see everybody.
Very
I like
much.
2 of those 3. Okay.
Just some advice for people who are just getting into Migo. I saw Finn accept a lot of his Intel stuff. If you're actively upgrading your facility, your Migo facility, don't upgrade or don't accept your rewards until after, like the end of the day, because once you upgrade everything, it'll give you more Migo rewards, which is what you get to use to buy stuff. So like the first Migo shop had plasma, Chief Hero maps and Hero Gear maps, and then the second one got rid of the Chief Gear maps and is more plasma. So if you're focusing on a lot of stuff like that, if you can maximize your Migo points, do that, because like I said, it's really hard to come by some of the materials to upgrade that stuff. So if you get it upgraded, wait to accept those rewards until everything's upgraded, because it'll give you an extra 2% increase on rewards for some events. So,
which is big and adds up.
There you go. So thank you guys so much. Glad to see a lot of the familiar faces back in chat as well. So I hope to see you guys next week. And with that, I am Finn with Reality Skewed Gamers. Thank you guys for joining another episode of The Bunker, now in the books, and hope to see you guys next time. Take care, guys. Come on, Delete. Come on, Delete.
Oh yeah. Rock on, Alan.